Wealth, fame, power. Gold Roger, the king of the pirates, attained this and everything else the world had to offer. And his dying words drove countless souls to the seas.
You want my treasure? You can have it. I left everything I gathered together in one place. Now you just have to find it.
These words lured men to the Grand Line in pursuit of dreams greater than they'd ever dared to imagine. This is the time known as the Great Pirate Era.
Come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams. Together we will find everything that we're looking for. One Piece.
All right, fame, power, wealth beyond your wildest dreams. This is a Boy in a Barrel podcast. Before I'm hung from the gallows, I am your host and current Pirate King, Nato. And with me, my co-host and future Pirate King himself, Dane Pevy. How are you doing, buddy?
Ahoy, hoy, mate. Back in back. So keen to get ripped into this one, my friend.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
Actually, I'm keen to. I think the terminology was rip. I'm ready to rip into this because this is very much where I dropped off last time in the first round of going.
Yes. Okay. If this is your first episode, this is a One Piece watch-along podcast with myself, the long One Piece superfan and only recent One Piece watcher Dane, as we go through arc by arc, discussing the adventures of Monkey D. Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates on his quest to become the Pirate King, and why One Piece will eventually become the modern day Odyssey.
We'll soon see, my friend.
Actually, you know what? I'll get into it when we get to it, but there is a big thing in here that does call back to the Odyssey, the actual book and, poem, epic poem and stuff like that. But before we get too deep into that, today's episode, we're talking about the Syrup Village arc, episode 9 to episode 18. That's 10 episodes. Do a quick summary first, and then we'll get into it. After Nami forms a partnership with the two as their navigator, the crew reaches Syrup Village and searches for a ship to use. There, they encounter the chronic liar, Usopp. When a devious plot is revealed, Usopp's courage is put to the test as the Straw Hat Pirates prepare for a battle with the Black Cat Pirates and their evil Captain Kuro.
I did like Captain Kuro.
I don't like.
Oh, that's
he's the first cool villain we get, but he is a super shallow villain. Like,
yeah, I liked the flashbacks. I thought the flashbacks when he was like a badass was really, really cool. And I reckon if he I don't know what happens in the future. I can't remember actually what happens to him. Does he die? Anyway, we'll talk about that. But the flashbacks when he was a badass were really, really cool. So I enjoyed that.
I think he just gets arrested and all that. I don't know. What happens? I don't know.
We're trying to talk about this episode and we don't even know what happened to him. I can't even remember.
No, because I don't think they actually mention it in the anime, like what happens. I think they all just get defeated and then
they just get left on the beach. You're done.
Yeah, because I know what happens in the manga, like the Marines rock up and arrest, or they all escape or something like that, because our first kind of like, Nathan, put your pin in this to watch this. Our boy, we mentioned him before, the current captain of the Black Cat Pirates after Captain Kuro left, our 1-2 Django boy.
Yes.
He actually is the only member that gets left behind or doesn't get arrested and all that. And he will show up eventually.
Beautiful.
So
I love Django.
He's our next character that we put a little pin into, and we'll see him a bit further in the future.
There you go.
Before we get too deep into that, tell me about your experiences with this arc. Like, you're the newbie. This is the second time coming through, and as you kind of hinted at a bit earlier, this was the one where you kind of bounced off a bit.
Yeah, 100%. So this is where I got in the first time that I watched this through. I got through right to the end of this, and I bounced. And I really feel like I speak for a lot of people where how many episodes in are we now? We're like up to 9 to 11 episodes in now. So you've given it a really good red hot go. There's been moments there within the series so far that have sort of like really held up, but we're still in early days. But after watching this, which is a bit of a drag on, like this is probably, what did we say, 10 episodes. So it's the longest arc so far.
Yep.
If I'm right, yep.
They continuously get longer from here on.
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
But this do feel it is the first stretched arc.
Yeah.
Like I reckon you could compress this a little bit.
I reckon you could.
When we eventually watch the first movie, I don't even know if it is actually the first movie, but the one that's like the movie about the whole of the first kind of 5 arcs.
Yep.
This part is like 5 minutes in the movie,
Yeah.
and it perfectly sums up everything.
I
The rest of
honestly,
the arcs,
I honestly feel this is like
ugh.
where you've got all your super fans, all your NATOs out there that are basically just like, come on, just I know this is
through,
rough,
yep.
but push through.
Yeah.
By all means, it is. We're pushing this heavy boulder up this massive hill, but I swear to
Yeah.
God, once we get over this hill, it's going to get really, really good.
I don't think the arc is bad. I reckon this arc could just be shorter.
Yeah,
way
okay.
shorter.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Because
like
there's great things in it. It's just long.
there are
Well,
great.
considering it's not that long.
Yeah, look, there are great things in it, and I do want to highlight those areas, but it's also really difficult because this whole arc. Are we going to talk about Gaimon? Are we just going to just throw Gaimon in
absolutely.
the bin? Because
A big thing
Gaimon's
in-
at the start, but isn't
It's
he?
not.
No, he's
No.
not.
In the manga, it is.
Ah, I
Yeah,
thought Gaimon's
Gaimon's
at the
at-
start.
No,
Okay, all right.
so in the manga, they go to his island first before they go to Usopp Island. So Usopp's not even there in the manga.
Oh, I just had a note to mention Gaimon. All right, so Gaimon's in the back. All right, so let's go back.
Yeah.
So they've jumped into Syrup Village, and like this is the first introduction that you get to Usopp. Now, I'm still on the fence with Usopp, but when you first meet him,
I can't wait. I can't wait for you to love him.
Yeah, well, mate, unfortunately, I don't love him at the moment. He's really annoying.
No, and you probably won't for a bit of a while, and then you'll realize he's not. You're trying to put him in the wrong book, like the wrong square.
Yeah, but
He's not. Yeah.
yeah, but I guess like in the mindset of going like you get this introduction where you've got Usopp. So Usopp's this like really, stereotypical boy cries wolf sort of thing. Goes every day through the village crying out, the pirates are coming, the pirates are carrying. The villagers hate him. They all basically get their sort of pitchforks and pans out, and they sort of run
We
away
find
from
out
him.
they don't later.
No, we don't. That's right. And so
Yeah.
I guess as
Yeah.
this 10 episodes goes on, there's areas in here where you do start to see the different layers of Usopp.
This is the first onion kind of.
Yeah, there's plenty of onions in this Shrek. Jeez, I watched Shrek the other day. That was a great movie. And you're right. You've got different layers here. So you've got the layers where you've got Usopp and the introduction of Kaya. So Kaya is the young girl. Kaya, sorry. That you've got the young rich girl that
Actually,
lost.
I think it is Kaya.
Is it Kaya?
But then the English version is like Kaya. They say
I feel like it's Kaya. I think
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
So you got the young
But
girl.
it's spelled Kaya.
Kaya. So Kaya.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Kaya.
Yeah.
Miss Kaya. Because I'm always thinking of the butler, Even the other butler that's
yeah.
not Captain.
So, do you remember what his name is?
Oh, fuck knows.
So this is easy.
But I should know because I really like that bloke.
His name is Mary. And what's the boat?
Oh, okay.
It's the
really?
Going Mary.
Going Mary. Yeah, well done.
All right. We'll call into it. Here's your next kind of trivia fact as well.
Yep.
So he's a sheep man, Mary, and it is a
Why is he
two
sheep
little
man?
bits. So that's actually what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
There is a bunch of like animal human hybrid race way down the line.
Right.
And I mean like episode 800 and stuff like
Just
that.
sort of like the fish man, full disclosure.
Yes.
Like that
And
bloke.
they're called the minks and all that. This is
Okay.
not really a big spoiler. This
Right.
is just a race.
Yep.
And me watching this, I've never thought of it. I was like, I wonder if Mary is a mink. Like, because he is a hybrid animal human. So we'll figure that out later when we talk about minks.
So I should be paying
fucking
attention to that butler.
No.
He was a good butler.
No.
He was the
Mary's
better butler.
awesome. Here's our first doesn't translate well into English kind of joke.
Okay.
So he is a butler.
Yep.
And the Japanese term for butler and sheep are pronounced pretty much nearly exactly the same in Japanese. It's like a pun on butler.
It's a play
that
on
he's
words.
a sheep. Yeah. So
Nice.
you don't ever get that joke at all in the
Didn't get
English
it.
version.
What are you saying? What if you're either Japanese, can speak Japanese, read Japanese,
Yeah,
or the manga?
It's shitsujitsu and chichitsu is like they're very
connection.
close and yeah.
Okay.
And that's the joke about it, that he's a butler and he's a sheep, so he's a sheep butler and
Right.
lol.
Well, that went way over my head, Nato. So I like the parts of Usopp that I really like is the fact that I like the relationship between Kaya and Usopp. So Usopp every day goes to see Kaya and sits out the front of her window, climbs up the tree and tells Kaya stories, and that's what they are because he's the best liar. I guess that's what he's painted at. He's painted as this big old liar, right? Usopp, good old Usopp. good heart, and he always goes every day to cheer up
heart
Kaya.
of gold.
Heart
The
of gold,
liar
yeah.
with a heart of
yeah,
gold.
Yeah, so heart of gold, the boy with the
Slingshot.
slingshot. That's right, the boy
Yeah.
with the slingshot. And so he goes and sees Kaya every day, and he tells her these stories, made up stories about this giant whale or the snail and all the rest of it, and his extreme adventures.
Okay, so here is our big conspiracy theory
Oh, no, here we
head
go.
hat. and
We're
all
only
that.
18 episodes in, NATO.
Yes,
Yep.
but every lie Usopp has told
Yeah.
has come true in the story.
Get fucked. Really?
Yeah. There's a huge goldfish
it-
they run into.
Okay.
You have seen one of them. Where is it?
Yeah. Okay.
The sick. He said he says at one moment, "I healed a sick whale. We went
Yes.
inside of it and all that." Yes.
Okay.
He
This is like a
talks
Disney
about
movie.
the huge goldfish.
Yep.
You'll see that way down. Actually, you probably will see it very soon of where you are.
I haven't seen it yet, but okay.
No, you will.
All right.
Escaping into the sky. I think you've seen one of the names of one of the arcs coming up way down the line.
I can't think of it now, but yeah. Okay.
Skypiea.
Okay.
And there's a special one day I'm going to find. I know it. There's a special medicine out there that can cure all sicknesses. He says that to his mum when she's dying.
Yes.
And it actually is a huge plot point in pretty much the next arc you're about to jump into.
All right. So what you're basically saying is that for myself and anyone else that sort of fell off here or lost track, there are some really important points.
Yeah.
That,
and it's he says other lies in the future. Like every lie he will say in the future as well has also come true. There's a few of them that haven't yet.
So where's,
and everyone's like,
the connection? How's he coming up? Like, he's never left this island.
well, that's the theory that he's like this huge like seer or like prophet that like
Right.
and he doesn't know that he's doing these.
I thought it was his
prophecies.
dad. I thought his dad was telling him stories. I reckon it's going to come back where the dad. No. Okay, all right. Well, fuck that. Put it
All
in
right,
the
yeah, well, we can talk about the dad.
Well,
There's our
yeah.
first
So
kind
hang
of
on. So you got
in-universe
Kaya. So that's a nice touch
Yep.
to it. And then as the episode goes on, it talks about Usopp's dad. So Usopp's dad was like, well, I don't know. He was on the island
Usopp.
and then he ran off. What's his name? Usopp.
Yasopp. Yep.
So Yasopp is introduced as the dad, and the dad basically runs off to become a pirate, and he joins the crew of Shanks, which is nice.
Dun, 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 dun.
And that's nice too, because then you've got the connection between Luffy as a young kid seeing and meeting with Shanks's crew, and then saying, "Oh, I met your dad, and your dad was a really cool pirate and really brave explorer and all the rest of it." And so that's all Usopp wants to be.
He's probably the best marksman in all the sea.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Because in a future episode, he talks about like his shooting, isn't it?
Yeah, snipe.
But he
marksman-ish.
uses a gun. So he uses a gun, and then Usopp obviously
Yasopp.
doesn't use guns.
He's a bit more of a kid, so
And I'm interested too to see as this develops. Like, does his kid type weaponry and arsenal does that evolve? Anyway, don't tell me. I'm so excited
for you
I'm
to
throwing
see.
it out there because at the moment, like it's
you're
almost,
you're on the right path,
okay.
but you don't realize that you're on the wrong path.
because I feel like it's the same sort of story with Kobe, like we talked about in the last episode. You've got basically the bottom of the barrel, the foundation. We've identified what he's basically, every character that you meet, especially every character that stays within the One Piece series for a long period of time, always has that goal. My goal is to be this, the Pirate King, the best swordsman in the world, and then Usopp has got his goal in life to be a great explorer and pirate. Is it? Is he a great explorer, isn't it? A brave explorer. Or at least at the start, that's what he sort of sets out to be. And then it does the introduction about the dad leaves to pursue his goals because the sea is calling him, I think he sort of says. And his mum stays on the island, obviously, and then looks after Usopp, but then the mum gets sick. And Usopp looks after his mum, and then that's where the whole connection comes from.
Lying.
Yeah, the lying.
That's also lying about the pirates are here because that's kind of giving his mum hope that his
Dad's
going to
come back.
home.
Yeah. And so it's moments
and that's
like
where
that.
whole
Yeah.
where like everything in One Piece has a meaning,
Yeah.
and like I think Captain Kuro is the last of the bigger characters that gets introduced that doesn't have. Well, he sort of still even had layers underneath him and all that.
I thought he was cool because, this is the one. Like, this is if we talk about like Captain Kuro. So he's basically he gets introduced like as a butler, but then you soon sort of evolve and work out that he was basically one of these main pirates that was like a big bounty on
East
him
Blue.
in the
Yeah.
East Blues. Like he was the biggest in the East Blue. And so then he got sick of basically like fleeing and the whole like not wanting to be captured and all the rest of it. Got sick of the life of it and basically set it up where the pirates killed.
He goes
faked
and
his
massacres that whole boat,
That's right.
leaves one person alive.
Yeah, that's it.
So here's your next tie-in.
Which
Did
I
you
thought that
see
was really
this
cool.
one? Do you know who it was that he left alive?
Old mate crew, man. I don't know. Who the heck was it? It's just
It was Axehand Morgan.
oh, get
From
fucked.
the
Do you know that part?
I don't think they mention his name in the anime, but they say Morgan at one point, and then you notice that he's got that short blonde hair, and then he's got in the manga, he's kind of like got all the injuries to the hand that like eventually probably becomes the axe hand.
Yeah, but don't they shoot him?
No, they hypnotize him to take.
Yeah, they hypnotize him to say, "I am this bloke. I am."
No, that's somebody on his own crew that looks similar to the captain,
Okay.
and they get that Navy guy to take him back, and because they hypnotize him.
Oh, that's
to be,
right. Yeah.
So
okay.
he's gone back,
Shit, okay,
taken Captain Kuro back, got all of the accreditations, and then got given the role of captain, and then has become
Gotcha.
Captain Axehand Morgan.
Okay, I got
Yes,
Yeah.
and
I
there's
like
you're
it.
already there world building. So 3
See
years
now,
ago,
I'm. This is why we do in this because I've got a new appreciation for something that I've
Yeah.
glazed over and I've gone. I'm done. I'm out.
because he doesn't care if you've missed it. That's for somebody that's really watching or coming back on the second watch, because you're not really thinking about Axe Morgan just like as you were coming into this. But I was like,
Who's that?
yeah, that's right, it's Axe Morgan, and that's why he becomes a captain, even though he doesn't really deserve it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So he goes basically he goes out there. He's finished with it. He kills all the people, leaves one crewman from the Marines. No, from his not from his group, from the Marines. And then and then he hypnotizes him and says like, okay, I'm this bloke.
Take this guy back. He is Captain Kuro, and then they obviously hypnotize their own guy, and so he thinks he is Captain Kuro. So when they take him back, he's like, "I'm Captain Kuro."
And then so that's his way to basically retire as a pirate. So he basically fakes his death. He retires, and he retires basically on this island. So he washes up here, shows up at the manor that is at Kaya's place. No, I can't remember. Now, does he kill Kaya's mum and dad? What's the death there?
It sounds like
I don't know if
that's
they
what I mean.
said that,
I think because this is like a lot earlier in the series, it is probably aiming a little bit towards a younger audience. Like it's heavy hinted that he kills the parents, and it's heavy hinted that he is constantly poisoning her as well with the medicine.
Oh, that's right.
To not kill her, but keep her sick so she relies on him enough so they can form the bond, so then he can eventually get her to write the will.
The will, that's right. So his whole goal is to come in to this rich family and act as the butler for 3 years and then basically kill everyone. And then getting Kaya to get hypnotized. So the crew comes in. His crew, I'm trying to remember. Fuck, I should have watched this beforehand. Does the crew know that the crew knows he's there? Django comes on.
Yeah. Because that's why
the goal. 3 years.
Those cat brothers or whatever, they attack
the Meow Bear
because they're
brothers.
because you just been sitting around doing nothing, and we've been getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And they try and take him over. Yeah, so it's interesting. I like the character. I like the character. It's obviously definitely a play of the Freddy Krueger, and to have that typical classic anime with the the glasses, does the fix up with the glasses, but he doesn't.
But he does it so well.
But he does it so well with his palm.
claws.
Yeah, that's right. And so even when doesn't Kaya buy him new glasses because
he's constantly she sees it slipping down and he has to fix them in that weird way. Yeah. Oda gives you, even at this stage, gives you little hints of if you're looking close enough, you'll notice something. Why is he doing it? It starts to train your mind to notice a lot of more things that Oda has put in there for you to see.
But you don't know all this stuff at the early pieces.
No, that's what I mean. He's training your mind. That's why it's a bad arc in this whole thing, but it's actually a good arc too.
It sounds like it's a good arc later on where you can come back and then you can see things hang on, let's go back here and let's watch this with new perspective on it. now knowing what we know now. So, but I really like Captain Kuro. I think, you know, when he was a badass and he was doing like taking out everyone on that ship, that was really cool. And even when he goes to fight Luffy and he's got like, he goes into next level mode with that move that he does.
Out of the bag attack.
Yeah, out of the bag attack. That was very cool. I really liked that.
Gotta let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, that was nuts. And then poor old Zoro, like, how does he get injured again? Because he's got to fight the Meow Bear.
Yeah, I did write that down. Like, where is it?
Because you and I were talking about that.
Handicapping Zoro again. Yep,
yeah,
the trope.
And that becomes like the trope through the whole thing. That poor old
first, they
Zoro.
take his swords off him, so he only has the one sword. At the start of the fight.
That's it.
And then Usopp goes to like interfere with the fight, and then like Zoro blocks it because like, you know, the honorable fight, and also like he doesn't want them to notice Usopp and Nami because like they're not going to be able to defend himself. So then he takes the bullet in the back, and then because of that he gets sliced.
Yeah.
But he still does awesome.
Yeah,
it was just like, there it is again. Zoro getting injured. Well,
typical.
Whoops.
There you go. But no, that was cool. The fight scenes were really cool. Django was definitely a standout as a character. Django the hypnotist. So like,
me and my brothers used to say that all the time. Like,
what?
1, 2, Django.
Django. It was
we
cool.
used to say that all the time as kids after we watched all those episodes. I think when it was on Cheese TV, that's as far as the arc kept getting, and they kept like going back and like repeating. So we've seen that arc so many times
on the Cheese TV
when we were young.
So you would have watched the 4 Kids version.
The 4 Kids one,
okay.
yeah.
Jeez,
Yeah.
Imagine this on the 4 Kids, because even the fight scenes and that would have been so weird to watch.
Yeah, there's no guns in it or anything like that. So when what's her name shoots Usopp, and I think that when Kaya was threatening to kill herself, it's
how'd they get away with that?
They redid the whole scene where like the thing was alive and it had its own mind and it was trying to kill her, and then Django was trying to stop it. And oh man,
yeah.
Nah,
I like Django, and they basically just took, as you sort of pointed out before, it's just a Michael Jackson ripoff, isn't it?
Yeah,
and even the introduction
Django.
Where he's just in the forest, just walking backwards, like who's old mate, and he's just
doing the moonwalk,
the whole time. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He's got the glasses.
So we did discuss it a little bit before, but this is a big trend from Oda. He loves grabbing celebrities and like pulling them in and like recreating them. I think some of the big ones. There's a huge villain down the line that's literally Eminem. There's another one that is the main dude from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Literally as Rocky Horror Picture Show, like outfit and everything like that.
Yeah,
and
cool.
most of the Navy admirals, when we eventually meet them, they're very, very famous, like respected actors, like our. I can't even think of something like Sean Connery, kind of like.
It's pretty easy to point them out when they do come at you. So no, it's good.
Oh, they just skipped the Mary shooting Usopp scene in the.
Oh, do they?
Edit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Kaya's pistol is changed to a slingshot, and Django's chakram is made to look like it has a mind of its own to tone down Kaya's threat of committing suicide. That's the
I was wondering how they get away with a lot of that stuff, because it actually it starts getting, you know, that sort of tones in this one there. You're like, oh, okay.
I think that's literally why 4Kids just stopped doing it.
Okay. Is this where they got up to? This part of it?
No, they get up to the saga you're in at the moment.
Okay.
So the Alabasta saga.
And then they just had too much hate mail coming at them.
I think they
anyone.
stopped after Alabasta.
Yeah, okay.
And then Funimation eventually picked it up years later.
But he's good. I like Django. Django's really, really cool. And then you get like that introduction to Usopp, which is really cool, just through the story. So that's a really nice connection. And then obviously they take down everyone from the pirate crew. What's the pirate crew's name again? The Cats.
The Black Cat Pirates.
Yeah, the Black Cat Pirates. And the Black Cat Pirates are obviously, no one believes, like when Usopp and that are going back to the village, about to say, like, you know, they're all coming now, because he's obviously been saying it for many years and every day. And then the villagers, you get to that part there with the villagers when he doesn't go back to the village and start saying like the pirates are coming and that. They sort of miss him, and they were like looking at where is he? Where's Usopp, sort of thing. And then
much as it annoys them, it shows that like they love him and they understand why he did it, because he's been doing it since he was a kid, and they would have known like where his parents went and all that. It's one of those like, we let him get away with it, but it also is super annoying.
Super annoying,
But but we love him and all that. So
Nah, it's good. And again, like I like those little things that they've done within this arc just to sort of flesh out him as a character.
Yeah.
He's got a big heart. He's got a long way to go to be where he wants to be. But everything sort of unpacks itself to be like, oh, he's not so bad.
as I said, this episode is the big training your brain episode, like secretly of like nothing is as baseline as you think it is at first. Like every villain's gonna have a reason, whether it's a good or bad reason, but it's still gonna be a big reason. And everybody has layers to them, and you've seen it. Literally, the next arc after it gets really deepen on everybody's backstories and reasons, and even villains. Like even if they are a bit shallowish, it's still like, oh, okay. Cool.
No, I think the next arc, and I can't wait till we jump on that next podcast.
That's what I mean. The next arc starts really showing you. This one was the training wheels episode, and then the next arc from there onwards, like everybody.
I think, and like in these couple of arcs, they're like again, they're just ripping in trying to build up this crew for Luffy.
Yeah,
like he's asking. It feels like he's asking so many people. You want to join? You want to join? You want to join? Like they even like we're going to talk to it about it. The Gaimon, like he even asked old Gaimon to join the crew. And
I know, I'd forgotten he asked Gaimon.
Like, why would he ask Gaimon? Like, he's this little...
like, Luffy sees anyone he sees with that spirit to, like, I want to, like, I have a dream and is a good person. Luffy's like, I want you.
Yeah, I want you.
If you haven't already got a crew, I want you. Like, you fit the theme of my crew, come with me.
It's very true. And you did say that from the start. Like, you know, Luffy's looking for the heart of everyone. And he can pick it with everyone. He's very empathetic in that mindset.
Yep.
So he just wants everyone that's got the same mindset as him to join the crew, whoever's passionate. Poor old Kobe didn't get that. So
we do get the first, like, long-running joke with Luffy as well on that note of Luffy mentions that you would have totally missed this bit, but he'll say it many times. His quest to find a musician for the
he keeps talking about the musician, like especially this arc. He's like, who are we going to get next? And they're all like, let's get someone that cooks food. They're like, let's get a musician.
Let's fix the boat.
We need a
chef.
That's it.
We need a musician.
The boat breaks. Yeah. So they're like,
this is the first time he mentions it. Like everyone's like, oh, we need a chef. We need a this, and Luffy's like, we need a musician.
That's right.
Everyone's like, yeah, whatever. This is the first time it's mentioned. But
he does say it a lot through the whole thing, especially when Zoro's always getting injured. They're like, "Oh, we need a medic or whatnot. We need a doctor." And they're like, "No, we need a musician."
We need a musician.
Bloody hell. But yeah, again, these first couple of arcs, that he's just building this crew. Like it just seems like it's just like, introducing Zoro, introducing Nami, introducing poor old Gaimon. But I thought I sort of liked Gaimon, and the fact that he comes back, which I thought was like, hang on, before we go on to Gaimon, what else have we got to talk about with regards to Syrup Village? Because at the end of the day, they take down the bad guys, right? So they leave the bad guys, they smash them out, they leave them on the beach, like they save the village. I don't think the village ever knows that they saved them.
They don't.
So and it's another thing, like, again, we talked about, in the last episode, what was it? Orange Town, you know, where the village thought the mayor saved them, right? So you get that sort of thing as the heroes are never the ones really that sort of saved, or they ever take the credit for it. Yeah,
and that's what you...
It seems to be an ongoing thing.
Like, really start... Like, Luffy's not in this for the fame and the creditation. And you'll get that with, like, what Luffy's goal is. Like, we haven't officially got... Because he mentions it, like, this is my goal and blah, blah, blah. And it always cuts away. And then we've had a few times when it's cut back. And then the crew's like, half of the crew's laughing on the floor and the other half's like, oh, yeah, this is why we follow you. And I'm like, what the fuck is he saying?
Yeah.
But it's more the freedom that comes with being a pirate. That's why Luffy wants to be a pirate and wants to be the pirate king, because it's if pirating is freedom, then achieving the top is the pinnacle of freedom then. Like, if you're at the top, then you're free.
You're getting to that point there where, like, every time someone meets Luffy, they're like, without knowing, like, his powers or anything like that, they're just like, you're a bit of a joke. Who are you, mate? You're too carefree, sort of thing. But as he sort of shows not only his strength, but also his heart within his actions and those actions that he takes for others around him, and even for those crew members that sort of join, the bond continues to grow. And it's always this running joke. It's almost like the Goku bit. Like, he's a goofball. Don't expect to get the most out of him at certain times. But when he needs to stand up, He will. If you're looking for a true friend, he is that person. He will be there
the
forever.
bit where Nami wakes him up during like the fire and like he cops the chakram to the face and eats it. But then like he's like, what are you doing? What, like, why would you do that, Nami? And then he like the instant he sees Nami's actually injured and it's not actually a joke, like he flicks. Like it's like he's a completely different person. In like, oh, okay, yep, all right, cool, we're in this,
and that's why I can't wait to talk about these next 2 arcs because it really comes out like that. Just becomes everything that people are like, okay, you had me. This is where you've got me.
All right, we'll go through the last little bits in this so we can get onto Gaimon. Yep. The first kind of like I'm pretty sure we might have already had the bump. Is this when it first was introduced? But I think it's in. We might have had it in the last arc. But the moment of like a person being like, I can't do this by myself. I need you guys. I need the help.
It's not there yet.
And then like Usopp. That's when he's like, no, just I'll sort this out myself. And then this is the first time you get like the straw pirates being like. Yep, we're a crew. Let's go, and then you do get the bump.
So okay,
like the three of them, like Nami, Zoro, and Luffy are like, yep, and like nearly gets them in like them doing the pose, like Zoro's putting his sheath in, Nami's getting out a stick, and like Luffy's kind of like grabbing his bicep. We're here with you, bud.
Wow.
And then that's at nighttime when they're talking and all that. So that's the first time we kind of get that and see him as a crew and like. Them to being like, I know we don't want to be like the white knight trope, and I don't mean the one that the internet has spun where like, the white knight coming to save the girl, but it's been a trope in a lot of movies and media and cinema for a long time where it's like a foreign person comes in and solves an issue because the natives can't do it themselves. One Piece juggles that very well through the whole of One Piece.
I think so. I never really got the feeling that they and like I guess if you analyze it really heavily, you could see that there's a pattern there. But
because Luffy doesn't come in and goes, "I'm solving your problems."
No,
like he will nearly like everybody is dead before, and they personally ask him to pitch in or help or do something before he'll. If they don't want his help, he's not white knighting it in. I'm the colonist. Let's go in.
But it's just blown me away that like I can't remember that. And I'm not saying it like it obviously it definitely happened where you've got like that very well known theme song that came through. But it makes me think about it to go. Obviously, I didn't notice it to a level like where it affected me. But when it does affect you. Like when I'm just thinking of that moment in the future, which we're going to talk about, that moment where they bring out that same theme song and how powerful
that's what I mean.
It was.
This is the training arc for you, the viewer, for future arcs.
But just the fact that if they've introduced this theme song and you're like, oh yeah, nice. How you go, oh yeah, cool. They're just banding together. Like it's their theme song to do that.
Yep.
But then versus when they build this thing up
again,
and then they do it again and you get completely different feels like you're just
wait till you're 1,000 episodes in and that fucking theme song hits and you're like, fuck, here we fucking go, boys.
I know. But now I've seen the problem is, and we're going a little bit deep in here, but I've had the taste and like I cannot wait to unpack this taste because it's literally the next 2 arcs.
That's why we're like behind the scenes, like we've been smashing these episodes out as quick as possible. We're not waiting like the weeks to do it because we want to catch up to where you are.
100%.
There are some big
100%.
All right, we'll keep going along quick. Another one that you might have missed the first time the Straw Hats run into Usopp and he draws the slingshot on them.
Yep.
Like, get off my island.
Yep.
Luffy pulls his hat down, does the big like suave superhero look and literally quotes the Shanks line.
Oh, really?
Of the one where what's-name draws the pistol on Luffy when he was a kid. And he goes, now you've drawn your pistol.
Oh, yeah.
You must put your life on the line.
Yep.
And then they just like have a stare down and that's when Usopp is like, fuck this.
That's sick.
But it was literally like word for word, the Shanks line from what do you call it? So that was another big moment.
Very cool.
You get hints of Usopp's gadgets, not only his slingshot, but you see a bunch of gadgets that he pulls out of his little thing. Where you are now, you've seen a bit more of his gadgets. Yeah,
he seems, and that's the other thing too. Like they do these not flashbacks, but they do these little moments where they, in the episodes where they're sitting on the boat and they're out in sea, and that he's sort of working on his craft and that he's building up his and experimenting chemistry wise with his sort of slingshots and his bullets and doing different things. And I think he's got his. It seems so far from what I've seen, he's got his like go-to. So he's got like 2 or 3 of his go-tos, like Black Star or something like that. He calls it, or
Black Star.
Is it called Black Star? Oh God,
I think it is in either the English version or like the actual canon version.
But then he tries different things, and he's like, it's almost a bit like Luffy when it comes to his rubber powers. He sort of is like, he's happy to sort of think of things and try different things and see if it works. So he's learning as he goes as well. So, but that's really cool.
We talked about it in last episode as well, because they also were building it in that episode, but we get the Nami's continual like building of her obsession with treasure. Every second it's like, what's happening with the treasure? That's really important too,
yeah.
The treasure.
And she leaves Zoro, like she's sort of like chasing the treasure on the ship of the pirates, the other guys.
And at this stage, you nearly start to dislike
Nami.
You do. Because you're just like, ugh, the treasure. Come on, Nami.
Yeah.
And like even at one stage when she like hypes Luffy up, she's like, do it for the treasure, Luffy.
Yeah.
And like Luffy goes like, what?
Yeah. I forgot about that. And that's really important for this, especially for where we're going. Because you're like, hey, she's part of the crew. She's part of the team. They need her sort of thing. As a navigator. Do they talk about her as a navigator at the moment?
Yes.
Did we talk about that?
Yes. They talk about it a few times. And then also when maps come involved, she's like, just give them here.
Yeah. Because this is when you start to go, oh, so hang on. So you hate pirates. You love treasure more than anything else. And you're also really interested in maps, and you're a navigator.
I want to take this moment so you can realize, look how much you were like, these things are important.
Well, now, but this is,
So imagine all the little things that I'm like quoting here and why they are so important eventually down the line.
Yeah.
Because like that treasure stuff is very important to be like building this character and nearly setting your expectations a certain way when they're about to pull a rug underneath your feet of why and all that.
Yeah.
We'll leave that though. We don't want to go too far.
Yep.
We get the start of the coward trio. We only got 2 of them at the moment, but we got the coward trio, the Usopp Nami kind of combination. Everyone else is fighting, and Nami and Usopp are like,
I wonder. I wonder
as we talked about last episode, they're the human ones in this wild, wacky world. Like Nami and Usopp, like Usopp's a good shot, yes, but he's not super powered and he's not nothing.
He's not Zoro.
Nearly us in that world. As much as I'm like, yeah, I'd love to be in One Piece. No, we all know we would be Usopp. We would 100%. Want to be cool and strong, but then next minute some guy's blowing fire out of his hands because he's made of fire, and another guy's a rubber boy, and another guy's literally a sea creature come to eat me.
He's sort of like, he reminds me a little bit of like, not as much, but Yajirobe. Like, again, bring the Dragon Ball in here. It's like Yajirobe. He's part of the team. He's got a ticket.
The moment that Yajirobe steps up, it's nearly more real courage than like what
100%.
Zoro and Usopp and Luffy do.
Like, if it wasn't for Yajirobe, we'd be
he got smashed in the head by that like rock mallet. And still was like grabbing the legs, trying to stop people from going to get higher. And then even Nami, she jumps in to defend Usopp, like when all the pirates are running up the beach. Like she knew she's probably going to die then, but like she still jumps into action and blocks a hit onto Usopp. Like, yes, they're weak and cowardly compared to everyone else, but
But it's part of the comic humor, because you can't just have like these OP characters that are going to set up every time. You need that combination. You need that good chemistry. So they bring that.
We get the first like real kind of fantasy element of it, apart from, like the devil fruits where like the silly hypnosis powers.
Yeah, that's right.
Just making everybody insanely strong and all that. That's like a common theme. Like, it's not just the devil fruits that make people weird in these worlds. Like, it's not as much as like Naruto's not earth grounded and stuff like that. It's still kind of, you could see logically how things could work, but like One Piece leans full into its fantasy genre a lot of the time, of just like, don't worry about it. It's magic, man.
Yeah, that's it. And like when we sort of touched on this on the last arc, which is like the Orange Town, that you've got people, even though they don't have the devil fruits or eaten the devil fruits, they still come in with like sort of like special powers, so to speak.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of characters, like even those cat characters, I thought, where is this going? But then I like the fact that, like, oh yeah, Django sort of hypnotized her to say, you're really strong. He's like, yeah, right, no worries. And then he does Luffy accidentally, and Luffy goes Burko.
We get to see more. We said about, like, the Nami industry, but we also, with Luffy getting mad about Kuro when first he starts slandering his men and the idea of pirates.
Yeah, that's right.
And it, like, really hits him, like, and you see that, like, Luffy's crew isn't just, like, his crew. They're his friends, and they're, like... When he's saying that, it does like a quick flash to when he's a kid and when Shanks like grabbed him when he was a kid, and like it is for like half a second, but then it flicks back and you know it's still tying back to like how much Shanks kind of has influenced our poor Luffy, and then like he just flips his shit when he starts killing his own men.
Yeah,
and also like even just like how he goes like pirate life is dumb, and it's like everything Luffy wants to be is getting like spit on and like...
And we talked about this in, I think, the second episode with the first arc, how you have this conversation he has with Kobe, where he says pretty much the same things. He says like I forget what it was, something like, oh yeah, you're a moron and a coward. I hate people like you, right?
Yeah.
But he says it with a smile, and he says it in the sense of going,
he's still
like,
a good person.
Yeah, you're a good
Kobe.
person, but like it's all these things. You're not going to be where you want to be if you're going to continue on this road. Versus like when he gets dead serious and he hates everything that this guy says, he just turns. And he goes the other way, just saying like, you're everything that I hate. And like you first, like to have Luffy where 90% of the time he's just a goofball. When he turns it on, like he's on, and you're like, oh shit's going down.
And then we get the first hint of the Lost Boys as well, Luffy and Zoro. That's a common theme, and it's nearly how they drive a lot of plots sometimes in arcs of either Luffy or Zoro just going completely
in the wrong different ways, yeah.
And getting
poor
lost.
Zoro
and, like,
stuck with that, like, what is it, the oil or whatnot, and he's stuck there for ages.
This is the first time it wasn't really his fault that he got lost, but oh man, there's some arcs where they're like, yep, take a left, and he turns right, and you're just like,
Well, even the other characters where I'm up to now in future episodes where they sort of just jump on an island and they just go disappear, and one goes in this direction. Meanwhile, like the actual, you know, what's happening in the story is directly in the middle of the island where these two are doing their own thing. So I
love it.
Anyway, we'll go into that.
Anyone that's played D&D, like that's what I mean. It's an adventure show. It's not a fight anime, and it's not a this anime. It's an adventure anime. It's about the journey. Hey, fuck it, we're off the ship. We're in a new island.
Yeah, and all the characters are on different journeys. Yeah.
Yeah, because Luffy goes like, I was running north. I was running towards the cold direction, and I was
which way's north?
Yes, because it's made in Japan, and they're in the northern hemisphere. So north is the cold way. Yeah. We get a bit more powers. We get Gum Gum Gatling. We get Gum Gum Spear.
Oh, yeah.
I don't actually know the inspirations for them. So
yeah, it's not like the future episodes where he sort of like starts contemplating, like this particular item or like
the pinwheel
object is doing this. Yeah, the pinwheel, exactly what I was going for. And so
that's what we'll just say,
and then he starts saying, if I do this sort of thing. But he just seems to pull out like from the cannons, Gum Gum cannons versus, what is it? Gum Gum pistols, Gum Gum cannons. I'm trying to think of everything else that he does. Where is he up to?
We've had Gatling, Spear, and Axe. Oh no, we haven't got Axe yet.
Okay.
But Axe comes up eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then one last one from Zoro. Just nothing cool, nothing to do with the plot. Just the coolest goddamn point where he like the fight's finished. He throws up the swords and he holds out his sheath in like a T pose, and all of them like
they just fall straight in.
Oh,
that's
bro, just the coolest man alive. Like
I still think they stole that from Trunks. Where he does, you remember how he slices?
Yeah, I suppose.
Come on.
But he does it with 3, so who cares about
so like, how can we make this even cooler? We do it 3.
Exactly. And then to sum it all up, the get on, we're friends. Like, when he doesn't realize that they want it, and they're like, what do you mean? Get on, you idiot. Like, we're friends.
That's cool.
And it's like, yep.
And the Going Mary, how they actually get the Going Mary. Kaya chips in and says, like, thank you so much for saving us.
Well, you miss it a lot. Like, it doesn't really mention it a lot in the anime, but, like, Mary isn't, like, an ex-pirate or an ex, like like Navy, like he built, like he said, it says it in like a tiny line. Oh yeah, I built and designed it, and you don't even notice he says it, Mary, like near the end. But yeah, that's why it's a Mary ship, and in the manga it has like Mary's flag on the top of it, as well.
Yep. Without going into spoilers, and I'm just putting this out here because we're very early in this podcast. I am very aware that when I look at the Going Mary, or I look at the ship, I'm very aware that it goes from, you see images where it goes from the Going Mary, obviously a big old lamb on the front, versus somehow there's a bear. So in other pictures that we see in the future, there's a yellow bear or sun or something. All right. So I'm mindful something goes on where there's a change there, and I feel like there's something symbolic with this boat. I have no idea what it is, and I know you do, but I'm putting it out there to go.
Giving nothing.
I'm very much
like
watching.
Not even for you, for the viewers.
No. And once again, I'm just more in the mindset of going, now that I've gotten to where I'm at, and now that I look back, even for arcs like this, where the first time I thought this was a big pile of poo-poo, and then now watching it back going, look, it is what it is, but I know I know where it goes straight after this. I just feel like there's something there. So I'm going to be watching what happens with this boat. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Let's get into Gaimon.
Okay, Gaimon. So they leave Syrup Village. And then
this is nearly your glue episode, as in like it's really part of the arc. But
and this is where I thought when I watched this, or when it was coming to it, I thought this was the biggest filler. But I feel like it is not a filler because
it says really everything.
Yeah. Well, from my perspective, I like it comes back. So this is one of those ones where I'm so fearful, as we talked about in previous episodes, like what are the fillers? And I know you've said like, look, here are the fillers, and these are literally fillers where like if you
there's websites dedicated to it. If you're listening along with us, have one of them with you. I will mention once we start getting to fillers. I have them written down for those things, and I'll mention them for the certain arcs.
But not looking at that list, I would have thought going to this was a filler.
No, because you'll still have your glue episodes. Where it's like a few episodes in between arcs that needs to like how you get from one story into the next story, because literally the first episode of the next arc is a flashback episode.
Yep.
So it's also a glue episode, because it's going to give us a whole bunch of flashbacks of a character we should have got flashbacks once we met that character originally.
Gotcha. And also from memory, this arc finishes up with Gaimon. It doesn't talk about Zoro. I'm trying to remember. It doesn't.
No, that's next episode.
Good. Because man, I cannot wait to get there as well. All right, so Gaimon. They end up leaving Syrup Village, and they find themselves on an island. What are they doing on the island again? What are they trying to find?
No, this is your first kind of like, this is how the plot's going to go from here on.
All right.
They'll see an island.
Yeah.
Let's go explore the island.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to work out, was there a reason why? Are they hungry? Are they trying to find someone on this island? I can't remember if that was the case.
I can't remember.
Anyway, so they're on this island, and then there's a whole bunch of like animals, and it's a bit scary, and then they've got old mate that they can just hear the voices of like, get off this island, and you're not wanted here, blah, 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 blah. And then introduction of Gaimon. This old mate that basically is just
that's a setup for another, like there's a horror arc in the future, and Luffy just doesn't have a bar of it. He's not
really?
Scared.
He's not just like, he's in the bushes, show yourself sort of thing.
Yeah, oh man, everyone's freaked out. Like even like Luffy, Zoro, and other characters that are as strong as Zoro that we won't mention yet because they haven't shown up. But and everyone's like, and Luffy's like, nah.
Nah. And he is not scared of anything.
That's what I think. I'm pretty sure he's like 100% ADHD autistic.
But I honestly think, but Zoro's the same. Like I almost feel like they are.
No, Zoro gets some scared of some things
in
the future. But still like dumb things. Like he's not scared, but he's still just like.
I just thought with these two, they're almost like past that level where they're like, well, this is what I want to achieve in life, and I'm happy to die.
Luffy's not scared, not because he's strong. Luffy's just not scared because he doesn't realize he's in a scenario where he's supposed to be scared.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. So what's this? What's the chest dude? So the chest dude's Gaimon. He's literally a guy in a chest. Just think of like a treasure chest where you've got a head poking out of it, where he's got like hairs like tree. Like green tree, shrubbery hair sort of thing.
Yeah, we got all the chimera animals on the planet, on the island.
On the island. Then he tells you this backstory as to like many years ago, his crew arrived at this island looking for treasure. And then what happened? I'm trying to remember what even happened.
They couldn't find treasure, and then he realized, that might be on this little peak that we haven't checked on. He went to climb it.
Yep.
Fell into one of the empty chests that they found, and then by the time he caught up with the rest of the crew, they'd left the island.
Yeah, okay.
Because they didn't do the school. All right, where are your buddies?
Where's your buddy? Yeah. Where's Gaimon? Don't worry. He's somewhere. I don't know. Okay, let's go.
So, and then that's pretty much the main plot of the island, really, in general. But
I couldn't work out why is he in the because he couldn't get out. He couldn't get out of the chest. Yeah. He's just stuck.
And then because there was no one else on the island to help him get out of it,
he just forms part of this. He's in the chest. Yeah, it's just part of it.
20 years. Yeah. He's part of it. Like he even says it at the end. He's like, I've come accustomed to this thing because they said, "Oh, did you want us to get you out?"
Yeah, do you want to help get you out? Nah, that's all right.
I like it now. All right. Do you want to get into the deepness of it, though?
Yes, I do.
All right. So this is your first time where they start talking about the Grand Line. Mm-hmm. They actually have maps and geography and all that, and you start seeing the how the world kind of works and looks and all that. This is your first kind of building and all that. We haven't got the real picture of it yet.
No.
I think it's when you get to Logetown, I forget how to say it. Probably.
When they start talking about
and then you know about the concept of the Red Line and the Grand Line and the Four Seas and all those. We'll go into them once. We don't want to overwhelm your mind now. We'll go into them when not you, I mean the listeners.
Yep.
But also this is the Gold Roger because his crew set sail literally just after Gold Roger got executed because it's been the golden age for 20 years.
Yes.
And his crew, he's been stuck on this island for 20 years.
Okay.
So his crew was probably one of the first kind of crews to get onto the seas in the golden age of piracy. But we also get more hints, more cementing of, as a viewer, what the hell is this One Piece and what is going on? I know Luffy's this adventure boy, he wants king of the pirates, but you guys keep mentioning the One Piece in the intros and in the title of the show and all those kind of things. What's this One Piece? And this is the kind of first, Gaimon kind of nearly, all right, audience, sit down, let me explain more of the world rather than the usual Oda slowly slipping it into you. I'm actually, just in case anyone hasn't caught up yet of what's going on, here's your last all right, here's the thing, plot points, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
As I said, this whole arc is your training wheels arc in a sense.
So the treasure on the island, he believes there's still the treasure on the island, but it's Luffy that alludes to the fact that Luffy knows it before anyone else. Because again, he's got that, don't know whether it's intuition, don't know whether it's because he's this empathetic, so he's just thinking of things that others aren't thinking at the time. And he's almost thinking you think the treasure's... Oh, how does he look? He knows, hey, there's a treasure on the island.
Is just basic treasure.
Yes.
And not something else.
But he couldn't see the treasure because the treasure's up high on a rock or something where he can't get access to anymore.
Yeah, so it's not literally an object that you can see and get to. It's a concept, and which is, as I said again, the training for audience, as in I'm never... Because even where we're up to it now, we still don't know what the fucking One Piece is.
Yeah, but there's still...
At all.
But there's still... There's treasure chests. So the one thing that Luffy was sort of saying was that...
Well, you don't know that.
No. Yeah, you don't, because they think there's treasure on the island, and he still thinks there's treasure on the island, and he's there to protect not only the animals, but the treasure as well. Yep. But then Luffy basically goes up to where the treasure chests are, which is on top of a hill or a rock or something up there.
Plateau,
high, which old mate Gaimon can't get to because he's stuck in a bloody treasure box. And so Luffy jumps up there, and Gaimon's like, no, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And Luffy basically says, you already know what's up here. And so Gaimon's is there treasure, whatnot? And he's like, you already know. I think that works out to be that Gaimon's crew takes the treasure back in the day sort of thing. Which is why I always think Gaimon's okay with it. Deep down, I think he always knew. And he was sort of that's fine. I was never really here to... Yeah. Again, deep down, I was never really here to look after this treasure. I always knew it was sort of gone, even though I never could confirm it.
Yeah.
Now I live my life on this island looking after, my family and friends, which is these animals. I really feel like, again,
it's a big setup.
I think it's a setup. I fucking think it's a setup, and I think honestly, we're going to go back to.
There's two angles that the big theory, as in this episode is one of the most important episodes in all of One Piece.
Yeah.
That's one of the big theories, as in there's the One Piece is fuck all. It's nothing. It's a fucking who knows. Like, that's the big theory, and this little episode is showing us that, like, not to get your hopes up too big as an audience.
Yeah.
And, like, your expectations of what the One Piece is.
Yeah.
Because it's not about the One Piece. It's about
the
Gaimon
journey.
Island.
Yeah.
With his friends and all that kind of stuff. And that's why, like, it's a big Reddit thing of just, like, the Gaimon episode.
I know. But I think this is where, like, my mindset is being how many episodes? I'm 77 episodes in. I reckon, like, my view at this point in time is Oda's going to finish One Piece, and then everyone's going to go, oh, fuck. And then Oda's going to turn around and go, but did you have a good time? And everyone's going to go, fuck yeah. And they're like, you're welcome. Do you know what I mean? I honestly think it's going to be something like that.
Episode 1000 ends with with a black screen that just says thank you, like after like a cool scene. Like, it's just the crew coming together, and it's just like the bump, bump, boom, dun, dun, and it's like them about to do a big fight and go to the big boss.
Yeah.
There's no spoilers because that happens in every fucking arc.
Yep.
But yeah, and then it literally just goes, and it's like the credits, and the opening of that episode is literally the opening of the first
he's been
episode.
setting you up along the way. But who knows?
And
like, I don't
it
know.
just
Maybe
says
we could
thank
flip
you,
it.
and every time I watch that, I fucking bawl my eyes out. I'm like,
so
yeah,
good.
man, yes.
Fuck.
But also, so the second theory of this is also another teaching moment for Luffy himself, because there is a few times when a character that has been to the One Piece or seen the One Piece or been to the last island, and somebody goes, oh, can you tell us? Like, what is it and all that? And, like, Luffy fucking flips his shit.
Yeah, okay.
And he's just like, I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to know it. I don't want to see it. I want to find it myself. And then I don't know. I think it happens in one of the movies. No, you would have seen him. You're in the Grand Line. There's those, like, the log poses.
Yeah.
So in concept, there's these ones called eternal poses, where, like, they will always point to whatever place you want that one to point to.
Okay.
And there is an internal pose for the last town, like where the One Piece.
Yep.
And Luffy has it, and he smashes it instantly.
Yes. No, I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. I remember.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've seen that.
Oh, has that happened in the thing?
Yeah. No,
Okay,
he's already smashed one. He's already smashed one. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and like, that's just the perfect setup for Luffy. Like, I don't want the short. Like, I want the adventure. Like, I want this.
Yes.
And
well, that's his definition.
Kind of like sets it up for him of just like, no, I didn't want to know what's up there or all that kind of stuff. Like, you are ruining my adventure.
No, yeah, and I definitely feel like for Luffy, it's not about when he obtains the One Piece, is he the Pirate King? I think it's the ability to be able to reach it, not to actually own it or have it. Is the fact that that's what makes you. You've got to.
Can I
you've got to get
through
there.
These gates and doors to get to it?
To
like,
be the Pirate King.
And there's multiple times where he runs into points where he is not strong enough or not good enough, or
which is good, because that's what I want. I want those pushbacks.
And then he has those big deep moments of like, cool, I don't want to go forward until I don't want to, find the secret door or, like sneak over the fence. Like, I want to find a way to get through this moment. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's Gaiman episode. The last two bits of that, we get to see the Luffy's flag.
Yes, that's
Luffy
cool.
himself. We get to see Luffy himself make the flag.
I love that flag. I thought that flag was
Luffy's
great.
flag.
Originally, wasn't it Usopp makes his own flag and just has Usopp on it? And so he's like the Usopp crew, because that's always the especially in the early stage, the joke. Yeah,
the running joke. Yeah, I'm Captain Usopp. And he's like, no, you are not.
No, you're not the captain. I'm the captain.
That's not foreshadowing at all. But Gaiman Island, the trivia stuff about that, it is a big call to two big separate things. The movie, The Island of Dr. Monero. I think that for anyone that hasn't watched old horror movies, there's a big Simpsons episode about it where like Homer goes onto the island where people have been turned into animals and stuff like that.
I remember that.
And all that.
Yep.
And because it's a crazy doctor like trying to, make hybrid version of it. Yeah, it's an old movie, and that's what the Simpsons episode is called too. And so is this kind of episode. Like, Gaiman is kind of the crazy scientist in a sense, and these are all these kind of things. But it also ties into one of the biggest things that I mention all the time, Odyssey. The big, huge Greek poem. During his journey back, he stops at an island. I Aya, I think it's called, but it has Cersei on it, and she's the one that turns like his crew slowly into pigs, and he accidentally eats them and all that.
Oh wow!
Because at one point, Gaiman says, "Oh yeah, these were all the other people that came to the island, and now they've turned into animals and all that."
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, wow.
It's a big call to the Odyssey in a sense. That's what One Piece is going to be, a big, huge Odyssey of islands and adventure. And
again, I reckon this is the start when you realize like how big this universe can be.
Yes.
It's going to be massive.
Right. Have you got anything else to add on about the Gaimons?
No. And again, this is one of those ones that hit from the first watch. This is where I placed the full stop.
This is your marathon arc. You just chuck it on, marathon through it in a couple of hours.
But I can also see where this is going to lose a lot of people, right? Because this is where it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm cooked. This is it for me. But this is where I encourage people to push through. If these next 2 arcs do not get you, I don't think it's for you.
Yeah.
It's my 2 cents.
People do mention the second arc from there as the big one. But yeah, as you said, you're like, nah. The Barati arc is
the Barati arc had me. And there's moments in there which we'll talk about that had me like, fuck. And that's what made me push. The thing is, without going into too much, I think this is where I went and binged the shit out of One Piece. When in the next arc. The next arc had me. And then straight after that, I was like...
Because we get the Zoro episode straight up. And then you were like, oh...
But there's
Zoro is awesome.
I love that, and I can't wait to talk about that. There's one little element that irks me. And I don't know if you know it, I don't want to bring it up, but I really want to unpack this because I don't want to feel...
Is it how a certain character dies?
Yes.
Okay, because the English version has like a completely different reason of why that person dies.
And I want to unpack this because I really feel like surely they didn't just do that. And clearly I've either missed something or there's a lot of angry people or there's going to be internet memes for the rest of the days.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, it's cancer in the manga or something along those lines.
That would make more sense than this.
Yeah. But look, that one can happen, though. It's
far out.
Yeah, I know.
It's just but
anyway. Before we go deep into the last little sum up, what are your big likes and what are your big dislikes about this arc?
I like the characters. Like at the end of the day, it's like even though I didn't like Usopp at the start, I did like him by the end. And I've got to always be mindful too. This is a very, very long series.
He is the weakest, apart from like Luffy, of all of the backstories.
But I'm. It's not about
all the crew, even to now. Like.
Yeah, but look at the crew, but the crew's OP on a lot of levels. So at the end of the day
I mean like backstory is in like sadness or like heartfelt and stuff like that. He is the weakest of all of the backstories because it's not as developed as everybody else.
I still like the fact that the dad is out there, and I am really keen to see in the future.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait till in the future where they rekindle that relationship where it's like, Dad, you haven't seen me since I was like 4 years old.
Yeah, I think calls him out a bit now because like 90s it was okay. That was like, oh yeah, you leave your son for adventure and like that's 99% of.
But the thing is, like he never really seems to be angry, even though the dad's left, and the mum seems to always be like, the mum's not angry. The mum's very much like, I am very
I know
proud.
Who I married. I think that's who she. I think that's her concept. Like she knew the kind of person that she was getting into, and she didn't want to change him.
I feel like that was the case.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think Usopp is like will ever be very bitter about it. Even though like you take a step back and you're like, get fucked. So you got some really good, strong conversations to have.
I think he will be a little bit.
You reckon?
Once he grows up a little bit and be like, hey, you left me and mum. Like mum died.
Yeah. Now that I think about this, now we're having a beer.
And I was by myself.
You're a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like again, I'm interested to see where the character development goes from. Again, they lay the foundation. You're starting from scratch, and you got to have a bit of realism to the sense of going. He's just an average person in a very unaverage world. So I like him. I like the characters. I like Django. I like Kaya. And I'm really
like Kuro.
Yeah. And I like Kuro.
Yeah, not a lot of because like a lot of people bag on all of the villains really in East Blue.
I reckon Kuro. Like there's more. Like Kuro stood out to me, especially
it's just because you haven't seen the other villains.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm starting. Yeah. I'm like from what they've given me so far. I've had old lady on the boat, the big old fat lady with the big club with
Axe Morgan.
And then I've had Axe Morgan, and I've had like these basic characters. So I'm sort of like. we're getting
But
to...
Buggy gets time.
But Buggy's good. I do like Buggy because there's a bit of, and again, they backstory Buggy, so which is cool. And he's gonna potentially come back with the whole Shanks
big.
part.
Yeah, he's gonna be big.
So yeah. So I'm keen for that. But anyway, mate, like at the end of the day, it's like
dislikes though.
Dislikes. It feels very slow. It's very slow. It's weak.
Yeah.
It's grindy. I reckon they could have definitely made this shorter. For whatever reason, like they didn't have to. For a series that's got over 1,000 episodes, mate, if you can get to the punchline and still get the emotional impact of putting out a character, and again, he's not too deep in this one. There's nothing really deep about Usopp at this point in time.
You would cut him a bit more slack if you didn't see what he did with characters later.
Yeah, like how many times did he run through that village? Like I reckon if you halved that, you could have saved a couple of episodes.
I can't wait for you to see how short that arc is in the movie. And there's
a reason for it.
It's done.
Anyway, the animators are like, give us a break. It's going to get real hard. Just give us some basic trees and stuff. Leave us alone. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, like I encourage and echo the fact that like push through this one. If you did stop like I did, just keep going. At least until the next 2 arcs.
It earns it back later. Like,
there you go.
It earns you back later. It's not one of those ones where somebody's like, oh, get through it, and it's thing. It's like, no, One Piece earns the right to have these arcs.
Yeah. And I think
that could do multiple of these arcs, and I would not feel bad for it, because I was like, yep, you make it up in other arcs.
Yeah. And I still think, like, there's enough in there, as you've mentioned, that they come back to, that you might go back and rewatch it with new, fresh eyes. So I'm very mindful of that as well.
And we won't have another bad arc until...
don't tell me when they're going to have bad arcs. And they're the same.
It's just an average arc. Where is it?
I want back-to-back heart
thriller bar
crushing, destroying.
Episode 337 is the next average. The other arc that where everyone's like a bit like, eh.
That's awesome.
But it has probably one of the best fucking moments in all of One Piece in relation to Zoro.
Okay.
Like, not even fucking close. Like, that whole arc can get away with just the 2 episodes that Zoro does something in that arc.
Right.
But so we don't have to worry about a bad arc until like 337.
Well, that's good to know. Know. But no, I cannot wait. So overall, it's fine. It's a big old fine. But for right now, I am so keen to talk about these next 2 arcs. Yeah, and I'll mirror even as the huge One Piece fan. Yeah, you can't really. It can't all be like even a super fan. You can't say everything if it's perfect. Can't be perfect.
I've said it multiple times in the last couple of episodes. I understand why people bounce off.
I mean, GT was worse.
No.
Shots fired.
All right. On that note, next episode we'll be talking about get ready, steady, go. Get your kitchens ready, because we're looking for a chef in our next arc with the variety arc, episodes 19 to 20. So for future listening, that's what we'll be going through, episodes 19 to 30 the variety arc.
I can't wait.
And we've got our spatulas, we've got our frying pans, and we're going on, aren't we?
Oh, we so.
Oh my God.
I cannot wait.
I can't wait to talk about the as I call them, pinning moments in these for later. Because there are some, because you love that arc, but there are some things you didn't even realize.
No, that's why. So part of this is the reason why, I really like it. More than like it. I love that arc, and I just can't wait to unpack it and see the things that I didn't see and have that different appreciation for it. Because
I don't know if a certain powers come into play yet. That is hinted very big in this one, and I'm sad that if it's not already happened for you, that we'll have to wait till that.
I don't think I really don't think it has.
Yeah. All right. I think it's about time we wrap it up.
I think so, mate.
Well, we gotta go. And set sail for the One Piece. This has been a Boy in a Barrel podcast. I have been your host and current Pirate King. You can find me everywhere at IKnowNato, and this has been my amazing future Pirate King himself. He's starting to feel the boat now.
Oh, mate, I'm starting to feel the riffles. It's good, mate, and it's going to get even better.
Where can the beautiful people find you and all the wonderful things you do?
Mate, you can find me at Dane PV, primarily on Twitter and Instagram. And again, for those that are listening and playing along at home, whether you're a super fan or you're just like me, first time or at least second time goer at this, giving it a refresh, which I encourage you to do. Hope you're enjoying it, and definitely throw your feedback out. I'm keen to hear what you like and dislike about it. It's certainly a journey.
Oh, actually, yes. We're probably enough in that I can say as well. Yeah, like if you're a super fan like me as well, and there's something that I missed or some cool moment that like
I don't think you think. How could you have missed anything that you haven't picked up, Nato?
Apart from super spoilery stuff, obviously, because I get there were like 800 things that I could have said in this episode, but they're way too much spoilery. But yeah, tweet at us that you want us, and we might even bring them up in future episode. I'll be like, well, actually, in this arc, Dane, I have to hand in my super fan card because I missed X moment and B moment and all that.
Yeah, 100%. And call out that if you have jumped back onto One Piece for a long while, call out that friend that keeps sending you all the memes and all those little moments on socials that just won't leave you alone.
How many did I send you one night?
You sent me too many, mate. I went to bed and I came back with 20 in my Instagram at the very least. I had a session that breakfast morning the next day. That was hectic, mate. You just went on a roller coaster on that one there. But if you do have that same friend as I do in Nato J, call them out in the best possible way. They mean all the love and tear because that is their passion, One Piece. We're just trying to enjoy the journey with them.
Thank you. And remember, my fortune is there for the taking. All you have to do is find it. I left everything I own in One Piece. Goodbye!
Much love. See you guys.